Okay, let's start with the double angle first, Shabab. If you remember basic cosine formula for the sum of the angles, cosine A, cosine B minus sine A, sine B. So we can just use the same formula for cosine of A plus A. Yani it is 2A, yani double angle. That means B is A now. All right. So cosine of A plus A is cosine A, cosine A. You see, because B is also A, you see? And minus sine A, sine A, right? B is also A. So what do you get? You get cosine of 2A equals cosine square of A minus sine square of A. Quite simple, right? So after that, Shabab, we can change cosine square to 1 minus sine square, or change sine square to 1 minus cosine square to get, expression in terms of sine or in terms of cosine only. For example, the first thing we got is cosine square minus sine square, and then I replace sine square with 1 minus cosine square, you see, Shabab? And you calculate again, Shabab, you will get 2 cosine square A minus 1. So this is one option. Cosine of 2A is equal to 2 cosine square A minus 1. And similarly, if you replace cosine square with 1 minus sine square, then you will get the expression in terms of sine. You'll get 1 minus 2 sine square A. So now we have 3 options for cosine of double angle. Either cosine square A minus sine square A, you can use it, or 2 cosine square A minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine square A. We have 3 options, Shabab. All right. Okay, so this is the cosine A. And how about the sine formula, Shabab? Again, remember basic sine of A plus B formula. Sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. So for the sine of 2A, we will use the sine of A plus A again, same idea. We are going to replace B with A, right? So sine A cosine A plus cosine A sine A. That means we have 2 times sine A cosine A. So that will give you the formula about sine of 2A, sine of double angle. All right. Actually, this is completely a topic of, section 7.2, because we are using the sum formula, right? Sine formula and cosine formula. So it's just a matter of the exercise of 7.2. And let's look at the tangent formula, Shiba. We have tangent A plus B formula. We know that already. Now I will change B with A, right? So we have tangent of A plus A, which is tangent A plus tangent A divided by 1 minus tangent A multiplied by tangent A. So we get 2 tangent A divided by 1 minus tangent square A. So it is a double angle formula for tangent. So in this page, number 6, Shabab, you will see all the double angle formulas together, right? And I'm sure you can easily memorize these things, Shabab. I don't think it's a big deal to memorize these couple of formulas, actually. And in case you forget it, now you already know how to get it, right? Right. Okay, so Let's see if we have practice. If I give you cosine of theta, and how do we calculate sine of 2 theta, cosine of 2 theta, and tangent of 2 theta? Let's see how do we calculate sine of 2 theta, everybody. Sine of 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta. Which is equal to 2 times sine theta. Well, do I know sine theta?
4/5.
Yes, since we know the cosine theta, right? As you remember, our classic easy technique by triangle, right? So cosine is 3/5. That means this side is 3, this side is 5, and this side must be 4, right? And don't forget, you have to make sure about the location, right? Quadrant, Shabab. Where is the theta? Can anybody tell me where is the theta? Do I know anything about the theta?
Yes, the cosine is positive and the sine is negative, so on the fourth quadrant.
Yes, perfect. Sine is negative. That's why they give you sine theta is less than 0, so that you understand the location. So we are in the quadrant 4. In the quadrant 4, of course, sine is negative. So it will be negative 4/5. And the cosine is already 3/5, Shabab. So result is negative 24 divided by 25. That is the sine of 2 theta. Let's see cosine of 2 theta, everybody. Cosine of 2 theta. Remember, we have 3 options, right? Which one would you like to use, Shabab? Cosine square minus sine square? Yeah, why not? Let's see. Let's use this one. Cosine square. Let me just make sure it is clear. Okay, let me use this one. Cosine square theta minus sine square theta. All right. Cosine square of theta is 9/25 minus square of sine. Sine is negative, but square will be positive, of course. So it will be 16/25, which is equal to negative 7/25. Correct, Shabab?
Yes.
Or maybe somebody likes to use this one. 2 cosine square theta minus 1. Well, why not? Let's use this one. 2 times, Shabab, cosine square is how much? 9/25. And then minus 1. So it will be 18/25 minus 1. It will be the same number, right? Negative 7/25. Am I right? Or somebody likes to use the third one, maybe 1 minus 2 times sine square theta. That means it is 1 minus 2 times, what is sine square? 16/25, right? It is 1 minus 32/25. And I'm sure you can see that it is negative 7/25. You see, Sheba? So you can use any of them you like. Cosine square minus sine square, or 2 cosine square minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine square. They will give you all the same number because they are equal, Sheba, right? They are all equal to cosine of 2 theta. All right. How about tangent of 2 theta? Let me just write it here. Tangent of 2 theta is 2 tangent theta divided by 1 minus tangent square theta. Which is equal to, everybody, how much is 2 tangent theta? Tangent theta is negative 4 over 3, right?
Yes, so it will be negative 8 over 3.
Yes, it is negative 8 over 3 divided by 1 minus, well, tangent is negative, but square will be positive, of course. It will be 16 over 9. So negative 8 over 3 divided by negative 7 over 9. Am I doing right, Shabab? Which is equal to negative, ala negative is positive, right? So 8 over 3 multiplied by 9 over 7. That will give you
24 over 7. Over 7.
Over 7. Perfect. 24 over 7. All right. So I guess it is easy. Unless if somebody makes some basic arithmetic calculation mistakes, Shabab. So there is nothing difficult to understand here, Shabab, hopefully. Okay. Now, if you have cosine 2 theta is given, you see, and how can I find the sine and cosine theta? Well, I will use the same thing again. Cosine 2 theta is 1 minus 2 sine square theta. So it is equal to 4 over 5. And I can solve it for sine, of course. Okay, if you solve it for sine square will be, right? Sine square will be equal to 1 over 10. Then sine of theta will be positive or negative 1 over root 10. So which one are you going to choose? Well, I have to look at location of the theta. Where is the theta, Shabab? In the second quadrant, right? Therefore, I will choose, the positive number for sine theta. So positive 1 over root 10. So it is root 10 over 10, Shabab. And if somebody likes to calculate cosine theta, right? Well, you can still use the same formula, Shabab.
Triangle.
Right? Or you can use triangle. Yani, Shabab, let me just... The same thing is equal to, Shabab, same thing is equal to 2 times cosine square theta minus 1. Right? So now you can solve it for cosine square and then find the value of cosine theta. Or since you already solved the sine theta, right, Shabab? And I can just sketch triangle easily. Sine theta, it is the root 10 is here, if you like, and 10 is here. And then
root of 90.
Root of 90. So it will be 3 root 10, huh?
Root of 10, yes.
3 root 10. So now the cosine theta easily, Shabab, cosine theta will be negative 3 root 10 ala 10, Shabab. Negative, right? because location is second quadrant, cosine should be negative, of course. All right. What is next? Yeah, it is a practice of this cosine of 2 theta formula, everybody. If you see a cosine square of A minus sine square of A, so you just need to remember. So it is a 2 times A formula, right? 2 times A, whatever here is 2 times A. So here we have 7x. So here we should have 2 times 7x, yani cosine of 14x equals to cosine square 7x minus sine square 7x. Now, remember this question, Shabab. We solved it in the previous section also. Calculation of sine of 15, cosine of 15. So it is about the double angle formula of sine, right? And if you like to just divide both sides by 2, huh, Shabab? So this 2 will cancel, right? Sine A cosine A, you see? Sine A cosine A is equal to 1 over 2 times sine 2A. Yani 2A means 30, right, Shabab? So the 1 over 2 times sine 30, yani 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 is 1 over 4. And so can I now ask you, how about sine of 7.5 degree and cosine of 7.5 degree? How about this one? Let's use the same formula, Shabab. Now this is, separate. So how would you calculate if I ask this one in the exam? It is equal to half times, right? What? Sine of
15.
2a. Half times sine of 2a. What is 2a, Shabab, here?
15.
Sine of 15, right, Shabab? So, well, I know already sine of 15, right, Shabab? Sine of 15 is 1 over 1 over 4 or what? Do we remember how to calculate sine of 15?
60 minus 45.
So we have option to calculate sine of 45. Sine of 45 minus 30, right? So since we know that, right? How to calculate sine of 45 minus 30, I guess I can kind of remember sine 45 cosine 30, yani root 6 minus root 2 ala 4, I guess, if I am not wrong. Please check with your section 7.2, Shabab.
Doctor?
Yes.
Why did we calculate the sine, not the cosine?
Why do we calculate the sine?
Not the cosine.
This is sine, Shabab, here. We are using formula, right?
I know, but when we have the sine 15 degree times cosine 15 degree, how do we know it's this formula?
So we are talking about this formula here, huh? Can you see that?
Yes, but when in the exam we will not have the formula. How do I know that you mean this formula?
How do you know which one to use, you mean?
Yes.
Well, if you have this question here, you need to use this formula, Shaba. If you have question of sine 15 times cosine 15, then you need to use this one. So if you have only sine of 15, you see, I have sine of 15 here. Yes. So I can use sine of 45 minus 30. Or you like to use sine 15 separately and cosine 15 separately and then multiply it. That will take more time, right, Shabab?
So there is more than one method.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yani, if you like to calculate first sine 15 and then calculate cosine 15 and then multiply these things, it's going to take a lot of time, Shabab.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Doctor?
So this is again another famous question about sine of 3x. Shabab, sine of 3x, we are going to write it as sine of 2x plus x, right? So which is sine of 2x cosine x, right? Plus cosine of 2x sine x. Now we know the sine 2x here, Shabab. Sine 2x is what? 2 sine x cosine x. And we have another cosine x, we should not forget. Okay. And then plus, what is cosine 2x, Shabab? Remember?
Cosine
1 minus 2 sine square. Why did I choose this one, Shabab? Because we like to write everything in terms of sine, right, Shabab? So I choose cosine 2x equals 1 minus 2 sine square x. You see? Because the question is asking, you know, everything in terms of sine. So I should just write everything in terms of sine, Shabab. So now we have 2 times sine x here. And we have cosine x times cosine x is cosine square of x, which is what?
1 minus sine square.
Exactly. You know? All right. At the end, Shabab, now when you multiply and reorganize it, you will get 3 sine x minus 4 times sine cube of x, Shabab. That is famous sine of 3x. In the next page, I guess we are asking, do the same thing for cosine of 3x in terms of cosine x. All right. Cosine of 3x in terms of cosine x. So I will leave it to you, Shabab. Here is the half angle formulas. Again, we are going to start with the double angle, Shabab. So cosine of 2a is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square of A. This is one of the options, right? Now, if you solve for sine of A, شباب, you will get this solution. Sine of A is equal to positive or negative root of 1 minus cosine of 2A divided by 2. All right, just solve this one for sine A, شباب. I guess everybody is able to solve it for sine A, huh? Now what we do, we are substituting A over 2 for A. Understand? Just change A with A over 2. Then this 2A will be A, of course. If you change A with A over 2, and if you multiply by 2, شباب, 2 times A over 2 will be A here, of course, right? So sine of A over 2, that means half of the angle. You see, شباب? That's why we call it half angle formula. Sine of A over 2 equals positive or negative root of 1 minus cosine of A divided by 2. So that means, شباب, if I know the cosine of A, right? If you have cosine of A, then I can find the sine of A over 2. Yeah, that is how it helps you. And do the same calculation for the sine, for the cosine, شباب. Cosine of 2A is equal to 2 cosine square A minus 1, right? Let's go to next page. The same thing for the cosine. 2 cosine square A minus 1 and solve for cosine A. And you will get the similar formula, which we have a plus here. In the sine, we have minus here. For the cosine, we have plus here. That is the difference. And again, when you change A with A over 2, you will get the half angle formula for the cosine. Again, if you know the cosine of A, then I can calculate cosine of A over 2. You see? Cosine of A over 2.
Doctor?
Yeah.
Is there half angle for 1 minus 2 sine square? Can you hear me?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it already.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it already, شباب. Okay. For the tangent of half angle, شباب, you will have, you can write it as sine divided by cosine. Of course, it's just a basic definition of tangent. Sine A over 2 divided by cosine A over 2. We know already sine A over 2 and cosine A over 2. Then if you use the radical property, you can take it into one radical, right? It's going to be root of 1 minus cosine A divided by 1 plus cosine A, positive or negative. That is one option for tangent of A over 2, شباب. Another option, again, doing some little bit a different way, again, sine over cosine, and then I multiply both sides by cosine A over 2, cosine A over 2, and multiply by also 2 here. So why did I do that? Because first, the numerator here is 2 sine A over 2 cosine A over 2 is equal to sine of A, actually. Remember? 2 sine x cosine x equals sine 2x. So x is A over 2, so 2x is A. You understand? And divided by, this is 2 times cosine square A over 2. Well, 2 times cosine square A over 2 is equal to cosine A plus 1, of course. 2 cosine square A over 2 is equal to cosine A plus 1 şebap. So that is the another option for tangent of half angle şebap. Sine A divided by 1 plus cosine A. So we just put it here for you. Either sine A over 1 plus cosine A or 1 minus cosine A over sine A, because they are equal, huh, Shiva? Let me, maybe if you remember from the section 7.1, we showed that these two expressions are equal, Shiva. These are the same. 1 plus sine over 1 plus cosine theta. Do you remember why these two are equal, Shabab? Can anybody remember anything? These two fractions are equal.
Cross multiplication.
Yes, because of the cross multiplication are equal, right, Shabab? Sine square A, right? Sine square A is equal to 1 minus cosine A, 1 plus cosine A. Yani 1 minus cosine square. Right. So that is correct. So for the tangent half angle, Shabab, whichever you remember, okay? Whichever easy to remember, just use that one, okay, Shabab? Okay. Now everything you need to memorize is here, Shabab. Half angle formulas in the page 16, slide number 16 of this class notes. Okay. Here is an example. I like to calculate cosine of 15. Well, I know how to calculate cosine of 15 the other way, right? I know cosine of 15. I can write it as cosine of, oops, let me write it a little bit below. It is a cosine of 45 minus 30, right? We know this way already. Okay, but now this is the another way. This is another technique by using the half angle. Instead of 15, you can write it as 30 divided by 2, you know, half of the 30, right, Shabab? Now, since you know the cosine 30, so you can calculate it. 1 plus cosine 30 divided by 2. And positive or negative, which one are you going to choose? You're going to choose positive, of course, because cosine of 15 is positive. And the cosine of 30 degree is root 3 over 2. And when you calculate, you will get this expression, root of 2 plus root 3 divided by 2. That is give you, that gives you the cosine of 15 degree. And interestingly, now I'm gonna let you, do it by yourself. If you do it this way, Shabab, cosine of 45 minus 30, you will get this result, root of 6 plus root of 2 divided by 4, Shabab. This way, you will get this expression, root 6 plus root 2 divided by 4. But if you follow the half angle technique, you will get this expression. So how come these two are equal? Do you think these two are equal, Shabab? Or we did something wrong? Interesting, huh?
I think equal, Doctor.
Now it is a homework for you, Shabab, to show, okay? To show that these two are actually the same number. They are the same. they just look different. You understand? Look does not show the value. Look shows something else. Look is like your dress, Shabab. You might change your dress, but you are still the same person, right? So the value is still same, but they look different. All right, so it is a good exercise for you. It's just a, maybe Math 001 practice. Show me that these two numbers are equal without calculator, of course. If you use calculator, it doesn't make sense, of course, Shabab. Without calculator, Shabab. Next is tangent, calculation of tangent half angle. We have tangent of 22.5 degree. That means it is tangent of 45/2, half of the 45. Now I remember this formula. All right. You can just remember the other one if you like. Sine 45 divided by cosine 45 plus 1, Shabab. And of course, the rest is just easy for you to practice. The Math 001 practice up here, rationalizing denominator or something. So at the end, you will get √2 minus 1. All right. √2 minus 1. It is tangent of 22.5. Okay, so let's see how do we calculate. Cosine alpha is given. How can I calculate? Sine of lambda over 2. So it's going to be positive or negative. We have to decide which one. So it is 1 minus cosine lambda over 2, right? Oops, what happened? One minus cosine lambda over 2. So which one, Shabab? Am I going to choose positive or negative for sine of lambda over 2? Now I have to find out where is the lambda over 2, not a lambda, because this is not a sine lambda. This is sine of lambda over 2.
Fourth, doctors.
Well, I have lambda already here. So I just need to divide by 2, right, Shabab? So where is the lambda over 2? Lambda over 2 is less than what?
Pi.
So greater than 3 pi over 4. So what did I do, everybody? I divided by 2, right? I divided each side of the inequality by 2, right? So now tell me, where is the lambda over 2, Shabab?
First quadrant.
It is in the second quadrant, Shabab. Okay, so 1 over √6. So it is √6 over 6. And now I guess you are now able to solve for cosine, Shabab. 1 plus cosine lambda over 2. So how about tangent of lambda over 2? Well, I will remember the easy one. Sine of lambda divided by 1 plus cosine lambda. All right. Sine of lambda. If you know the cosine lambda, right? You know the cosine lambda. Can I find the sine of lambda? By triangle, right, Shabab? Just easy technique by triangle. So lambda is here. Cosine lambda is 2 over 3. So that means 2 is here and 3 is here. This side is root 5. So the sine of lambda is negative root 5 over 3 divided by 1 plus cosine lambda is 2 over 3. Sine is negative because lambda is in the fourth quadrant, Shabab. Of course, Shabab, I'm going to leave these calculations for you. Anybody remembers what is this formula for, Shabab? Plus or minus 1 plus cosine theta over 2. What is this, Shabab? Cosine of what? Cosine of half angle, right? Yani cosine of 6x, right? Do you guys remember this one? Tangent of half angle 5a ala 2. Tangent of half angle. All right. Well, we have a bit challenging question here. 1 minus sine of 17 pi over 5. Well, let's see about the sine of 17 pi over 5, Shabab. Because we need to simplify this, huh? Sine of 17 pi over 5. And can you guys help me? What shall I do, Shabab?
Cofunction.
Shabab, before the cofunction, I need to simplify this 17 pi over 5, which is equal to 7 pi over 5. Who's going to tell me what did I do now?
Coterminal or reference?
How did I get 7 pi over 5?
Coterminal angle. You divide 2 pi.
Coterminal. So I subtract 2 pi, right, Shabab? Coterminal. It is 7 pi over 5. Well, now let's see what can I do for sine of 7 pi over 5. Hey guys, where is this angle, Shabab? 7 pi over 5.
Third?
Yes, in the third quadrant. What is the reference? 2 pi over 5. Now, Shabab, you just need to take this one, right, into the formula here. What happens?
1 plus sine.
It becomes, right, root 1 plus, because there is another minus, huh? 1 plus sine of 2 pi over 5 over 2. Now, let me change the sine to cosine, right? Because we don't have a formula like this. 1 plus sine theta over 2, right? We must have a cosine function here. So it is 1 plus cosine what, Shabab? Who's gonna tell me? Cosine of?
Pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 5.
Perfect. Pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 5. So, Shabab, it is equal to 1 plus cosine of what? Pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 5. Who's going to tell me, Shabab?
3 pi over 10.
Pi over 10.
Pi over 10, sorry.
Pi over 10 ala 2. Now you can see the formula. What is this, Shabab?
It's cosine. It's E. Cosine pi over 10.
Cosine what?
Pi over 10. It is cosine, half angle for cosine.
Yeah, half angle for cosine, yes. So cosine what? Half angle, half, huh? So it is cosine what? Pi over half, Shabab, half.
20.
Cosine pi over 10 inside, outside, half angle, Shabab. Yani half of the pi over 10 is pi over 20. All right. So, is there an answer like cosine pi over 20, Shabab?
No.
No? Well, that's not fair, actually, because question is actually long enough. Looks like at the end, they changed the sign back again.
Co-function, right?
Yes, they use cofunction again, Shabab. Pi over 2 minus pi over 20. Well, that is not fair. So it is equal to sine of what? Nine pi over 20. Well, they shouldn't go that much. This pi over cosine pi over 20 is already, it took some time actually. So they should give cosine pi over 20 as an answer. Anyway, you see, sometimes they like to give you some trouble, huh, Shabab?
Yes. Doctor, everything is connected like spider web.
Yeah. Yeah. خلاص. Inshallah, we'll continue from this page. Shabab. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you,
Inshallah.
Doctor.
Thank you,
See you
Doctor.
next
Right.
class.
See you,
And,
inshallah. Take
good
care,
luck
Shabab.
tonight.
You too, Shabab.
We wish all good for you, Doctor.
Thank you, Shabab. Thank
Inshallah.
you. Thank you so much.